Amy Halterman celebrates son Glenn's first day of preschool. Amy Halterman celebrates son Glenn's first day of preschool, a milestone marked by tears, triumph, and a new creative philosophy. How a preschooler's first step out the door is redefining success in a hyper-achieving world. Los Angeles, yesterday morning at 8:15 MPST, in the sun-drenched kitchen of a cozy craftsman home, a monumental event unfolded not with a bang, but with the careful, deliberate schlick of a glue stick. Amy Halterman, a successful graphic designer known for her cool-headed approach to multi-million-dollar ad campaigns, watched with bated breath as her 3-year-old son, Glenn, attempted to affix a precariously cut piece of blue construction paper onto a sheet of green. His tongue, caught in the corner of his mouth in a universal sign of intense concentration, was the only part of him that moved. For Amy, this quiet, gluey moment was more significant than any boardroom presentation. It was the final, precious artifact of a childhood morning before Glenn crossed the threshold into a new world. His first day of preschool. This scene, replicated in countless homes across the country every autumn, is often relegated to the realm of sentimental social media posts. But for Halterman and a growing number of parents and educators, this rite of passage is being re-evaluated not as a simple logistical shift, but as a profound creative crucible. It represents a fundamental transfer of creative custody, a moment where a child's imagination, once curated primarily within the family unit, is entrusted to the wider world. In celebrating Glenn's first day, Amy isn't just marking a calendar. She is engaging with a powerful, emerging philosophy that champions unstructured, creative exploration as the most critical skill for the future. A creative act in itself, the morning was a study in controlled chaos, a performance art piece titled, "Preparing a 3-Year-Old." There was the sock debate: the dinosaur ones were deemed insufficiently fast for playground running, the meticulous packing of a spare outfit, and the sacred selection of a well-worn stuffed sloth named Sparkle. Amy, who manages complex creative teams with ease, found herself outmaneuvered by a tiny CEO with very specific demands about apple slice thickness. In my work, creativity is about control. You have a brief, a timeline, a defined outcome. Amy reflects after dropping Glenn off. This morning was the absolute antithesis of that. It was creative chaos. My job wasn't to direct, but to facilitate. It was about setting a stage where he could make his own choices, even the wrong ones, like wearing mismatched shoes. That's a terrifyingly hard, creative shift for a type A person. This letting go is, according to Dr. Eris Thibodeau, a developmental psychologist and author of The Sandbox Mind, the first and most difficult creative act of parenthood. We spend the first 3 years of a child's life as the chief architects of their environment, Dr. Thibodeau explains. The first day of preschool is the moment we hand over the blueprints. We are no longer the sole creators of their world. We become collaborators with teachers, peers, and the environment itself. This is a profound act of faith in the creative process itself. For Amy, this faith was tested most acutely at the classroom door. The scene was a tableau of tiny backpacks and quivering lips. Glenn, clutching Sparkle the sloth, froze, his wide eyes taking in the new landscape of low sinks, tiny chairs, and a bewildering array of new potential friends. There was a moment of hesitation, a tight grip on Amy's leg, and then a miracle. A little girl in a polka dot dress approached, pointed at Sparkle, and declared, "My bear is hungry." A negotiation ensued. The crisis was averted not by a teacher's intervention, but by the raw, unscripted creativity of child's play. Glenn, with a final glance back, was pulled into the orbit of the classroom. He didn't say goodbye, Amy laughs, her eyes glistening. He was just absorbed. It was the most beautiful and heartbreaking creative handoff I've ever witnessed. The classroom as an incubator for the unprecedented mind. The Sunflower Room at Little Sprouts Preschool, where Glenn will spend his mornings, is a deliberately engineered creative ecosystem. There are no worksheets or flashcards in sight. Instead, there are provocation tables with pine cones, magnets, and translucent tiles. The dress-up corner is a jumble of fabrics, not pre-packaged costumes. The art station offers only primary colors, forcing children to become alchemists to create purple and green. Our curriculum isn't about teaching children what to think, but how to think, says Maria Flores, the lead teacher in the Sunflower Room, a veteran of 25 years in early childhood education. The first day is about establishing that the environment is a partner in their discovery. When a child mixes blue and yellow paint for the first time, the gasp they let out is the sound of a genuine creative breakthrough. That moment of self-driven discovery is more valuable than me simply telling them blue and yellow make green. They have not only learned a fact, they have lived the process of experimentation and innovation. This philosophy is increasingly backed by longitudinal studies. Research from the Global Institute for Future Readiness suggests that the skills fostered in high-quality, play-based preschools, collaboration, problem-finding, not just problem-solving, adaptability, and divergent thinking, are the very skills most resilient to automation and most critical for navigating a complex, unpredictable future. The jobs we are preparing these children for quite literally do not exist yet, Dr. Thibodeau adds. We cannot arm them with a fixed set of knowledge. We must arm them with a flexible, creative process. The sandbox, the dress-up corner, the block area. These are the training grounds for the innovators and problem solvers of tomorrow. Their first day of preschool is, in a very real sense, their first day on the job. Beyond the backpack, a family's creative recalibration, the celebration of Glenn's first day extended beyond the traditional brave kid ice cream cone. For the Halterman family, it marked a conscious recalibration of their own creative values. In the evening, the "How was your day?" question was replaced with "What was the most interesting thing you built/touched/made today?" The goal was to continue the work of the classroom at home, to value process over product. Amy has even begun to apply this preschool philosophy to her high-stakes design work. I watched my son solve the problem of a block tower that kept falling over. He didn't get frustrated and quit. He tried a bigger block at the bottom. He experimented. I've started reframing creative blocks in my team, not as failures, but as unstable block towers. It sounds silly, but it changes the entire emotional tenor of the room. It gives us permission to play, to experiment, to be messy. This ripple effect is common, says Flores. When parents truly engage with the philosophy of a play-based education, they often experience a creative reawakening themselves. They start to see the world with more wonder, more curiosity. They remember how to play. As the sun set on Glenn's first day, the evidence was scattered across the Halterman living room floor. A slightly lopsided clay snake, a drawing that was ostensibly a race car but looked more like a joyful scribble, and a boy exhausted, happy, and full of unspoken stories. The creative custody had been successfully transferred, for a few hours at least. Amy Halterman looked at her son, now asleep with Sparkle the sloth tucked under his arm, and reflected on the day's journey. We spend so much time teaching our children, but today, Glenn taught me, she says. He reminded me that the most profound creativity isn't found in a flawless final product. It's in the courage to try, the resilience to try again when it fails, and the unbridled joy of making something, a friend, a painting, a tall tower, or a new version of yourself, for the very first time. His first day of preschool wasn't an end to his babyhood. It was the brilliant, messy, glorious beginning of his life as a creator. In a world obsessed with metrics and outcomes, the story of Glenn Halterman's first day of preschool is a powerful reminder. The greatest innovations of the next generation may not be born in Silicon Valley labs, but in the glue stick and glitter-filled classrooms where children are learning, first and foremost, the art of possibility.